Hey, boys and girls, welcome to another week of language arts, and we are super close to being done with the end of our book. So we're super close to being the end of our book and being done. Today is a little different. If you could see in the instructions, it says listen to the paragraph. Listen to the paragraph about the inner and outer planets. Write 2 things about each set of planets under the correct title. So the inner planets, you're going to write 2 things. The outer planets, you're going to write 2 things. In the space where the circles overlap, that's this area right here, you're going to write 2 ways these planets are the same. So this isn't from your brain. This isn't what you've read in a book. This isn't what you've learned in science. This is just from the reading. So this is a listening exercise. And it's also saying if you can take the information and not, if you could take the information and then get the facts from there. And remember, this is not from anywhere else, just from what I read. So you're going to go kind of fast. Write 2 things that are the same, 2 things that are in the inner planets, 2 things that are outer planets, just from what I read. And it's not going to be complete sentences. Don't worry about spelling. So, if you write Mercury, for example, it doesn't matter if you spell it right. You just want to try and get 2 things in. Okay, so here we go. Listen carefully. Although the planets in our solar system all orbit the sun, they can be divided into 2 groups. The inner group is made of Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. These planets are made of dirt and rocks. They are similar to Earth. They are also quite a bit smaller than the big planets beyond Mars. Earth and Mars are the only inner planets that have any moons. Between the inner and outer planets is an asteroid belt, a ring of space debris floating like a huge divider. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are all huge planets made up of mostly gases. These big planets each have several moons and have rings. Uranus even spins sideways. These big planets have short days but very long years. Okay, so the same category is probably the one that was the trickiest for you. So listen again. You probably got things for the inner planets and outer planets. I'm going to give you one more try. So 2 facts about inner planets, 2 facts about outer planets, and then 2 things that are the same, just from what we read. Okay, are you ready? Let's try it one more time. Although the planets in our solar system all orbit the sun, they can be divided into 2 groups. The inner group is made up of Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. These planets are made of dirt and rocks. They are all similar to Earth. They are also quite a bit smaller than the big planets beyond Mars. Earth and Mars are the only inner planets that have any moons. Between the inner and outer planets is an asteroid belt, a ring of space debris floating like a huge divider. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are all huge planets made up of mostly gases. These big planets each have several moons and have rings. Uranus even spins sideways. These big planets have short days but very long years. Okay, so let's start with the easier ones first. Let's do some things for the inner planets. I wish you were here. I would call on you and I would let you write on the board. But since I can't, I will pretend. So what did you hear from that? Well, we heard that they were made of dirt and rocks, the inner planets. And I'm just going to put dirt and rocks. See how I didn't even make a complete sentence there and I just wrote dirt/rocks? Okay, so only 2 have moons. We also know that they're smaller than the outer planets. What else did we hear? They're the closer ones to the sun. Was there anything else? You could have actually listed out the names of some of the planets. So Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Okay. If you got some extra, awesome. Good for you. Make sure I actually read that. What about the outer planets? Well, they're made of gases, mostly. Oops, mass. Made of gases. Well, they were bigger. What else? It said they had rings. And at the very end, you might not have caught this. These big planets have short days, long years. Okay, so what about the things that were the same? Well, in the very beginning, I said, although the planets in our solar system all orbit the sun, they can be divided into two groups. So they all orbit the sun. And you think, Mrs. Cornthal, that's all I got. I mean, some of them, they're divided by an asteroid belt. I'll put that. This was a little bit harder to find what they had in common from what I read. An asteroid belt. Now, sometimes it's called an inference. So if you know they all orbit the sun, what else does that tell you? They all orbit the sun. And it compares, when it mentions that the outer planets have short days and long years, what does that imply? It implies that that's different than the inner planets. It doesn't tell us anything about the days and years about the inner planets, but what do we know from that? This one is a tricky one. They all have days and years. If you didn't get that one's okay. So sometimes it doesn't tell you exactly word for word what to write down. But if I know, okay, it's telling me that the outer planets have shorter days and longer years, well, then that must mean that the inner planets have days and years, just a different length. And if they all orbit the sun, we know that they have the days and years. So anyways, that one was the trickiest one. Okay, great. If you didn't get those, fill them in now. You could pause the video. And then let's go to the bottom part. Okay, it says, finish the paragraph. I'm going to highlight this for you. Finish the paragraph. Write a declarative sentence telling about one way all the planets are alike. Write a declarative sentence telling something you learned about the inner planets. Write one declarative sentence. I'm going to highlight this in a different color. One declarative sentence telling something you learned about the outer planets. The topic sentence is written for you. So if you forgot, I don't remember. Well, look at what you just put in the bubbles above. So if we were doing this and I was reading you a story about anything and I said, okay, now you're going to write a paragraph about what we just heard. So this is exactly what you're going to do. I'm not going to do it for you, boys and girls. You are going to do it. And you're going to show your mom or dad that you did this page and a declarative sentence. So I'm going to go over again what you need to have. So when it says right here, the topic sentence is done for you. That means, sometimes Mrs. Cornthal says everyone's going to start with the same first sentence in our paragraph. So that's been done here. So the planets in our solar system are divided into two groups, the inner planets and the outer planets. That's this. So the first sentence is done for you. Then what did it tell us to do? Write a declarative sentence about how they are alike. So declarative about how they are alike. You're going to write a declarative, that's a period sentence, just regular information, about alike. just one. Ah, that was really, I'm just going to erase that. That's even tricky for me. Okay. Then you're going to write a declarative. Declarative, inner. Declarative about the inner planets. And then one declarative sentence about the outer planets. Okay? And then if you really want to kick it up a notch, a good paragraph also has something like a closing sentence. It doesn't require it, but you said planets are interesting. I'm thankful for planets. Something like planets are similar and different. So you can reword the first sentence. But all you're required to do is write 3 sentences. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And every sentence is going to have a capital letter in the beginning. Remember, capital letter. And we know even at the end, it's going to have a period because they're just declarative. Okay, so you're just writing a declarative about how they're alike, a declarative about the inner planets, and a declarative about the outer planets. This is just from what we have up here. So that's about the inner planets. This is how they're alike, and this is how they are different. So we just took notes. These are notes. They're not capital. We don't care about spelling. We don't care about punctuation. But when you change them into sentences in our paragraph, it does matter. Use correct spelling, use correct punctuation, use capitals, use the period at the end. Okay, so that is for you. I wish we could call on you and you can read it to me because that's one of my favorite parts. But anyways, you can read it to someone in your house, maybe a younger sibling, and teach them something about the planets. Alrighty, my friends. That is it for the day. I love you. If you want to move on and do 2 pages today, you can. If not, I will see you tomorrow. Hey, boys and girls. We are on a new page. Right now, we are on page 183 in our books. See how close we're getting to the end? And a lot of this at the very end is review. Is this anything new to you? Nope. So here's what I want. I'm going to read the instructions for the whole page, and then you're going to pause the video. You're going to do all of the work and then make corrections with me. Okay, because copying right now is not going to help your brain. I'd rather you get it wrong and fix it because this is nothing new. It's just review. So it does tell you to think, but you're thinking about what you already learned before. The Think A says, use proofreader's marks to insert punctuation and capital letters. So punctuation and add capital letters. Identify each sentence by writing declarative, DEC, interrogative, INT, EXC for exclamatory, or IMP in the blank. So you need proofread capitals, and then you need, so declarative, interrogative, question mark, exclamatory, and imperative. Remember, imperative is a bossy sentence. So if it's giving you instruction, even if it's please put the book on the table. What is that? Imperative. Okay, so do that section. And then let's look at the next section. Draw a line between the subject and the predicate parts of the sentence. That's it. That's super easy. Literally, subject and predicate. Mr. Morton and what he does. If you want to look up Mr. Morton, it's Mr., just for fun, Mr. Morton, Schoolhouse Rock. Just for fun. Okay, the last part, it says correct the run-on sentence by adding a comma and a conjunction. Remember, it's comma first and, comma and, comma or, comma but. Okay, so there's two full sentences in there because they have a subject and a verb twice. 2 separate subject, 2 separate separate subjects and two separate predicates. So you could put a period and put a capital and make them two sentences, but that's not what it's asking us to do right now. It says, correct this run-on sentence by adding a comma. Oops. By adding a comma and a conjunction. So that's these, and, or, but. And the comma goes before the conjunction. Okay, so that's what you're doing. And then you're going to stop the video. You're going to do the whole page and then make corrections with me. Now, that doesn't mean you're just going to do the page and turn the page and not make the corrections, because you might miss it. This is great review, boys and girls. So stop the video, do the work, and then I'll join you in a minute. Okay, so if you are listening to my voice right now, you've done the whole page 183, and you think you've done it all right, you've double-checked your work, you think you're amazing, and you're like, Mrs. Kornthal, I am going to get this. I bet I got 100% because I remember all this. I was super careful, and I followed instructions, and I remember all this. I am ready to go. Okay, well, let's see about this. Number 1, the night sky is full of stars. Ooh, that's declarative. Capital, good beginning, and period at the end. Excellent. Look at the night sky. Ooh, that sounds bossy to me. It's telling me to look at the night sky. Look at the night sky. Capital, period. Have you noticed the different stars? That sounds like they're asking a question. So that is interrogative. Capital, question mark. Okay, number 4. Do you know what a nebula is? Some of you actually do know the answer to that. Interrogative, it's a question. Capital, question mark. Do you know what a nebula is? So if you don't, here's what it is. Number 5. Nebula is a name for clouds or dust in outer space. That sounds very declarative to me, telling me some information. Don't forget the capital. So if you didn't know what a nebula is, now you do. Find pictures of nebulae, that's plural, and you will be amazed. So the last part kind of sounds declarative, but what does it tell us in the beginning? It is telling us to go find pictures of the nebulae. So it is imperative with a period. What beautiful. Remember, this is what. So if you just read it quickly, you might think, oh, it's asking a question. What beautiful and interesting things nebulae are. But is it asking about them? No, it's saying, what beautiful and interesting things these nebulae are. That is exclamatory. Woo woo. There we go. Fabulous. I hope you did well on that. This is great review. Okay, draw a line between the subject and the predicate parts of the sentence. Dad gave Ben and me a new telescope. What did Dad do? What did he do? Dad gave Ben and me a new telescope. Excellent. Last week we used it every evening. Last week we used it every evening. Did the week do anything? No. What's the doing there? Used it every evening. Ooh, fun fact, we know it is a pronoun for telescope, right? That's not what you need to do, but if you were wondering what the it was, is a pronoun that replaced telescope. Last week we used it every evening. Where's the who? We. What do we do? Used it every evening. Awesome. In the darkness, Ben and I can see many beautiful stars. In the darkness, Ben and I can see many beautiful stars. Is the darkness doing anything? No. Who's doing something? Ben and I. What can Ben and I do? We can see many beautiful stars. Okay, if you made mistakes, make corrections. But pause and think, how did I make that mistake? Oh, I see what I did. It's okay to erase and make corrections, but stick it in your brain. And then retrain your brain and think, okay, Ben and I, the darkness didn't do anything. If you put your line anywhere else, fix it, but also think why you made the mistake so you can fix it next time. Okay, Dad showed us the Big Dipper. Ooh, showed us the Big Dipper. Who did that? Dad. The line goes between Dad and showed. The North Star is called Polaris. Polaris, depending on how you pronounce it. Okay, so, is called. That's a tricky one because I don't see the action, but we know is called is a verb phrase. And who is doing the action? The North Star. Awesome. I'm actually going to write these out. If you want to fast forward to the end of the video, so you don't have to watch me write the whole time, you can. But make sure you have it correct. Capital. All you're doing is separating the sentence. Have you met Jenny? She is my cousin. Have you met Jenny? Oh, you know what, boys and girls? I made a mistake earlier. Or by making two sentences. Now, I was thinking, which one would be the best for this? Now, if you did comma and, comma or, comma but, that's fine. Because that was my fault. I actually, I suggested making comma and a conjunction, but I somehow missed the end of this instruction because I was thinking just now, have you met Jenny? And she is my cousin. That doesn't go. Have you met Jenny or she's my cousin? That doesn't really go because that's or remember it's like a choice. And then have you met Jenny but she is my cousin? That actually doesn't work either. So forgive me. I actually went so fast that I missed the instructions for the second part of the second part of the instructions for this section. The reason it wouldn't go well with and, but, or is because the first part, have you met Jenny, is a question. And it jumps to a whole new idea. Have you met Jenny? So that actually begs for a question right here. Have you met Jenny? Capital, she is my cousin. So that is my fault. If you need to fix it, forgive Mrs. Kornthal. You wouldn't join that together because those are two separate ideas. They're asking a question and then they're making a statement. So and, but, or wouldn't actually fit very well. And the only reason I actually noticed that there was more to the instructions is because I knew that and, but, or wouldn't fit. So have you met Jenny? Question. She is my cousin. So if you need to change it, blame Mrs. Kornthal. But be gracious to me because I make mistakes too. Jenny's room, number 2, Jenny's room is green. Mine is pink. So we have two ideas. Jenny's room is green. So I know that the division is right there. Jenny's room is green. Mine is pink. Okay, so which one would be best? Are we joining two of the same ideas? That would work. Is it giving you a choice between the two rooms? No, it wouldn't be or. But there's contrasting ideas. See, there's Jenny's room is one color, okay? And my room is a different color. So what gives you, which divider would be more opposite than that? But, okay? Jenny's room is green, comma, but mine is pink. Okay, so they're joining opposite ideas. So one room is green and one room is pink. So but is the contrast word, remember? The contrast conjunction. Okay, some people think we are twins. We are cousins. You could divide that in two sentences, but it really sounds like they need to go together. And is it a choice word? Some people think we are twins or we are cousins. Is it giving you a choice to pick whether they're twins or cousins? No, because there's only one truth. They are cousins. Are those two the same ideas? We are twins and we are cousins? No. So again, it's the word but. They're contrasting. Some people think we are twins, but the truth is, see how that's an opposite idea? But we are cousins. So the people who think they're twins are wrong, because the opposite idea is that they're actually cousins. Okay, so make those corrections if you need to. And I hope this is making more sense to you. Sorry again about not giving the correct instructions. Missing part of that. Just goes to show the lady who's done this already, even last year, could miss instructions. All right. I love you. Thanks for being gracious. I will see you on the next page. Hey, boys and girls, we are on page 100. Page 100, 184. Yay. We get to complete each sentence by writing the plural form of each word in parentheses. So, do you remember plural nouns? Plural nouns, the endings where the answer is found. Some of you can sing that from your head, the whole thing. If you want, I will put that on Google Classroom. I think I already did for the other week. I think it's still on there from before, plural nouns. The Frozen song, plural nouns. So you are going to change these with the correct ending. That's what you're doing for the first section. Then the second section. So this is one of those days, again, where you know what to do, and you are going to do it, and then you're going to come back and check with me. Think B. Circle all the common nouns. Mark up your instructions with me. Circle all the common nouns. Those are regular old plain person, place, or thing. Then it says draw a box around all the proper nouns. Oh, the proper need a capital because they are important, like names, and specific places like Disneyland. Okay, then you're going to underline all the compound nouns. Underline all the compound nouns once. Now, sometimes it would have an italicized word that says some are both. Like if I said Disneyland Resort, maybe that's the actual name of the Disneyland Resort, or California Adventures, right? That's two words that make one place, and they're both proper nouns. So be careful. Normally it gives us a little warning, but I think they probably think that you know this by now. Some might be both. Okay, so here we go. Write C. Write the kind of sentence using the plural form of the noun. Before you go on to that, let's think of it, because I don't want you to write a sentence and then start doing the wrong word here. So puppy becomes what? Puppies. Interrogative is a question. So it could be as simple as, do you like puppies? Exclamatory of foot. What's the plural of foot? It's not foots. It's feet. Okay, now you could use, this is exclamatory, so something exciting. Now, it could be something about your feet, like, oh, you have stinky feet. But could it also be like, the boat was 700 feet long? Okay, so this could be used either way. You could think of feet measuring or feet attached to your body. You can write an exclamatory for that. What about a declarative for moose? What is the plural of moose? Is it mooses? Nope, it's just moose. Moose is what it is. And a declarative is a regular old informative sentence. Okay? What about door? How do you change door to plural? Just add an S. Doors. Imperative for doors. So that's bossy. Bossy. How about don't touch oven doors? Sure. Could it be don't open your neighbor's doors? Okay. Make sure you shut your doors. Okay, shut the doors of the car. You tell me. Okay, but first, pause the video, do the whole page, and then we'll go over it together. All right, if you hear my voice, that's because you have done this whole page and you are ready to make corrections. Okay, campers will enjoy many activities. Change the Y to the I and add ES. So ACTIVITIES. Because remember, if the letter before is a consonant, you change the Y to an I and add ES. Fox. Campers will enjoy many activities this summer. The family of foxes live near our back fence. X, when it ends in an X, you add what? ES. Foxes. My big sister's job this week is washing dishes after dinner. Dishes, when it ends in SH, dish-es. And for fox-es and dish-es, you almost hear the ES at the end. Alice, number 4, Alice is cooking a picture of 2 wolves in the snow. You can hear it. It's not wolves, it's wolves. So you change the F to a V, W-O-L, change the F to a V and add ES, wolves. Please fold your sweaters before you put them away. Sweaters. Regular, old, there's no fancy rule for this. Sweaters. When in doubt, just add an S. It's probably normal. Okay, if you need to make changes, please pause the video, erase, don't leave the wrong answer on your page. Okay, now let's look at Think B. So first thing, let's circle all the common nouns in sentence 1. Or maybe, you know what? Even though the step 2, it says draw a box around all proper nouns, sometimes the proper nouns are easier to see. Why? Because they're capitalized. So let's just go through. Emma and Sadie are very kind girls. Ooh, that's a plural noun right here. But it's still common, so we'll circle it. Is there any compound nouns there? Any 2 words put together? Nope, that's it. We're done. Number 2, the students at Front Range Baptist Academy will enjoy a picnic next week. Ooh, let's just go through students. That's a person, place, or thing. It's a plural noun if you want to be specific, but it's still common. Front Range Baptist Academy. Now that is all one compound noun. That's one. All 4 words equal one place, right? So there's a compound noun. But what else do we know about it? It's proper because it's a specific name that's capitalized. So that's one of those that has both a box and an underline. All the students at Front Range Baptist Academy will enjoy a picnic. Picnic. That is a noun. It's a thing. Next week. Week. This one you might have missed. Tricky. Circle it now if you need to. Okay, Braden and his family rode the train to the top of Pikes Peak. Okay, Braden, that is proper. That's his name. And his family, those are people, rode the train, that's a thing. Train is a thing. To the top, that's a place, of Pikes Peak. Ooh, that's a double. Pikes Peak is one place. 2 words together make one place, and it's proper. It's the official name, capitalized. Do you see that? Awesome. Okay, this campground is full of campers and colorful tents. This campground, that's a place. Oh, what else do you see? Campground. Boys and girls, I have a secret. In our teacher book, it missed this. Campground. It only circled it. But camp and ground, 2 words put together, that is a compound noun. Camp, ground. My book even missed it. So even people who get hired to do this job make mistakes. We all need someone to hold us accountable and double check our work, right? Like editors. This campground is full of campers. Campers, those are people. And colorful tents. Tents is a thing. Okay, those are regular old common nouns. These ones are plural, but we're not looking for that. Okay, this summer, Andrew plans to check out many books from the library. This summer, Andrew plans to check out many books from the library. Okay, summer. Awesome, the season. Andrew, oh, he's proper. Do you see that? Andrew plans to check out what? These are things. Books are things for sure. From the library. There's a place. I hope our library is open soon, so you could check out some more books. Okay, for fun. I I wish you could talk to me through the screen and read me your sentences. Go pick someone in your house and read the sentences to them. So your interrogative, could it be simple as, do you like puppies? Do you? Make sure this sentence, your first word is capitalized. Do you like puppies? So Laura Chupp, do you remember Laura Chupp? She is getting the cutest new puppy. It is a Labradoodle and Cockapoo mix. It is so sweet. I wanted to get one of its sisters, but they were already sold out. I think Fonda needs a friend. We've been trapped in this house so long, I feel like we should get a puppy. A lot of people are doing that right now. So the money we didn't spend on our cruise, I was like, let's get a puppy. All right. And if we're home all summer, right, it's a good time to train the puppy. Do you like puppies? Do you want to buy some puppies? Do you want to get Mrs. Cornthal a puppy? Except that would be singular. I actually don't want to get 2 puppies because we already have a dog. Okay. Exclamatory. Let's see. Exclamatory. How about your feet are, are so muddy. Your feet are so muddy. So I would say that to the kids if they were walking around barefoot in the mud, or they had their flip-flops on and they were getting gross. And I would say, your feet are so muddy. And I would not want them to walk in the house. So I would definitely yell that with excitement. Not in a happy excitement, but like, yeah, watch out. Wash your feet. How about declarative for moose? I saw moose in the wild. Now, I wouldn't say a moose because remember, this is plural. So you wouldn't say I saw a moose because remember, this is plural, like more than one. I saw moose in the wild. How about doors? Shut the car doors. Okay, imperative. There we go. So I hope your sentences all have a capital in the beginning, all have the correct punctuation, and have the correct usage of the plural. Go read those to a family friend. Family at your house, or a sibling, mom, dad, brother, sister. Okay. I think this is our last page of the week. Oh, no, we have 2 more. Yep, here we go. Okay. Sorry if you're done with page 184. See you later. We are now on page 185. And this is one of those pages, boys and girls, we're getting to the end. Do you still remember what verbs are? They're verbs, and this whole page is about verbs. Verbs. So we have verbs. It says underline each verb. I'm going to go over the instructions. You're going to do the page, and then we'll correct it together. So I'm going to go over the instructions for every section. Then you're going to stop the video, and then you're going to do it on your own, and you're going to check it with me. Okay, so it says underline the verb or verb phrase. Remember what that is. 2 times. And then the reminder is look for action and non-action verbs. So do you remember I could say my dad is calling me on the phone, okay? Or I could say my dad is awesome. When I say my dad is awesome, is the only verb in the sentence, and it's a non-action verb, but it tells you about dad. So there's one like dad is doing something, or dad is a certain character trait. So is calling would be a verb phrase. Is would be a standalone verb that connects with a character trait. So don't forget those. Okay, the next section, right B. Finish each declarative sentence using the correct verb in the parentheses. So how would you say the one in each of these parentheses? How would you write it? Okay, here we go. Think C. Circle the correct helping verb in each sentence. Helping verb. Circle the correct helping verb in each sentence. So you're just going to pick each of those, and then you're going to circle it. Okay? Think D. In each sentence, underline the correct verb in parentheses 2 times. The helping verbs are underlined for you. So it reminds you that there's a helping verb. So that changes it, remember? Like the first one, is it are froze or are frozen? Okay. You would say froze alone, but if you have the helping verb, it changes it. So think about that. Okay. Do the page and I will meet you back at the top. Okay, if you're back at the top of the page, that means you have done the whole page by yourself. You're feeling confident. You're like, Mrs. Kornthal, I know this. And I'm thinking, boys and girls, do you remember at the beginning of the year and you barely knew what a subject and a predicate was? And we learned that. And now you know so much that you did this page all by yourself and you're just double checking to make sure you got it right. So here we go. Number 1, Sirius is the name of the brightest star in the sky. What's our verb? Is, and it just says what it is. Okay, it just describes it. But there's no other action, just telling you what Sirius is. Awesome. Number 2, we can see it easily even without a telescope. We can see. Oh, I see. But is it just we see? No, it's we can see. I hope you got both of those in there. I hope you saw the helping verb can. Remember, if you didn't get it, make the changes now. Silas has made a constellation chart with his dad. We know what constellations are. We did some of those in our class. Made. I see made. Oh, what else do we have? Has made. There's our whole helping verb with verb phrase. Okay. They have studied the stars together. Well, I know studied. Ooh, is it just studied? Nope. It's have studied. They have studied. I hope you got all of those. They can see, has made, have studied. Okay, part B, it says we're going to finish each declarative sentence using the verb in parentheses, the correct one. So, beautiful yellow flowers. This one I will see, it can be present tense. That means it's happening right now. There's actually 2 correct answers here. Beautiful yellow flowers grow. It's just a regular declarative sentence. But I could also say grew. Could I have been talking about it like yesterday? I'll take either of these. Depends on if you're talking about them now or in the past. Either one of those would be true and they both work. So whichever one you wrote is fine. All right. Number 2, Emma's kite has fly. What is the past tense of fly? So the has tells us that it was before. Has flown, F-L-O-W-N, flown. So today I fly, I have flown. Yesterday I flew. So because there's the helping verb right there, it's has flown. Do you see it? So you wouldn't say has flew. That's what you'd say, past tense with no helping verb. Okay. Daniel and Sebastian like music. Well, that sounds right already. Yeah, guess what? It is. Like stays like. Daniel and Sebastian like music. The snow on the porch melt. Now, there's 2 ways to say this. It's either happening right now. The snow on the porch melts, like I'm watching it melt right now. So it melts in the sunshine and melts during the day. It melts when the weather gets warm. So it could be melts. But what if I was talking about it yesterday? Would it still work? The snow on the porch melted. You got up. Maybe it was snow on there yesterday. You woke up in the morning. It's all gone. And you could say it melted. Either one of those is correct. You pick. As long as it's one of those. Awesome. Okay, think C. Circle the correct helping verb in each. The 3rd graders have or has eaten lunch today. Have. We have eaten. The 3rd graders have eaten lunch today. The Star-Spangled Banner is sung before each baseball game. The Star-Spangled Banner are sung. Okay, it's singular. Just one song is sung. 6 quarters. Ooh, look, there's a indicator. 6 quarters was found under the chair. 6 quarters were found under the chair. Because it's plural, because there's 6, right? You see 6? 6 were. Okay, if it's just 1 quarter was, 6 quarters were found under the chair. Awesome. If you got those, give yourself a pat on the back. Nice work. Miles likes, we already went over the instructions, so I'm not going to read it again. Miles likes bananas that are what? Are froze? No, you would say froze by itself, but if you have a helping verb, it becomes frozen. Are frozen and dipped in chocolate. That is a yummy, yummy treat, by the way. We have went on a picnic at the end of each school year. If it was just we went, that would work. But since there's the helping verb there, have gone. We have gone. Excellent. Okay, Carlos rang or rung a bell to signal the students. If there was a helping verb, it would be rung. But since there's not, it's just rang. So if I said Carlos had rung a bell, that would be rung. But when it's just the word alone with no helping verb, it's rang. Carlos rang. That one might have been the most trickiest of all of these. I have seen, but there's no helping verb there. So it's I have seen, that would be seen. But since there's no helping verb, it's I saw Molly riding her bike. I saw Molly riding her bike. Hot dogs and hamburgers were ate or were eaten out of our at our cookout. Well, since there's a helping verb, it's were eaten. If it was just hot dogs and hamburgers, no, even ate doesn't work then. They would say like I ate hot dogs and hamburgers at our cookout. So it's were eaten. Hot dogs and hamburgers were eaten at our cookout. Julie has taken piano lessons for 4 years. You can say she took, but since there's the helping verb there, it's has taken. Excellent. I hope you feel really confident because you're like, I learned all this, Mrs. Kornthal, and it's sticking. It's stuck in my brain, and I remember it. Okay, synonyms and antonyms. Do you remember synonym? Starts with an S. Synonym and same. Antonym is the opposite. So just if you can remember synonym, same, then you remember antonym is just the opposite. Okay, so this is one of those things again. I want you to stop, do the page. We'll go over the instructions real quick. Do the page, and then we'll go over it together. So write a synonym and antonym for each word. Something that means the same as glad, something that means the opposite of glad. Now, our words might be slightly different, but and if you're really not sure, I'll let you leave something in this section blank. If you're like, I really can't think of one, then we'll do that part together. This part, I want everything filled in. If the words are synonyms, write S in the blank. Okay? If the words are antonyms, that's the opposite, write A in the blank. If the words are homonyms, remember a homonym? They sound the same but mean something different. Then you write a H in the blank. So I would say like fair and fair. Okay? The fare for the bus pass was, or the fare to ride the bus was 25 cents. But I went to the fair and saw animals and went on the rides. Okay? So there's different ways to use words that sound exactly the same. So here we go. You're going to do that section. And then in the very bottom, it says write a declarative sentence, regular old information, using a synonym for the word pupil. Ooh, synonym for the word pupil. Now that's a tricky one because it could be pupil like eye, like your eye, the eye in your eyeball. So you could say something like my eyeball or my eye, or pupil like student. Do you know pupil also means student? So you're going to write a sentence using a synonym for the word pupil. Okay, if you are hearing my voice right now, you have finished all of page 186. So you're finished. And you're just checking. Okay, if not, stop the video right now, go back and finish, and then restart. Okay, synonym for glad. Ooh, he's glad. He's happy. Now, if yours is a different synonym and you thought of another one, maybe you put content or joyous. Would I take that? Absolutely. What's an antonym? What's the opposite? Well, an easy one would be sad. If you're not glad, the opposite of that is sad. How about shut? Shut the door. How about close the door? Close. What's the opposite of shut? Please open the door. Synonym, same. What's the same as little? Well, my sister is little, my sister is small. What's the opposite of that? Big. An antonym for little is big. Damp. Ooh, the towel is damp. The towel is wet. A synonym for damp is wet. Well, if it's not wet, what's the opposite of that? How about dry? Excellent. Chilly. Ooh, it's chilly outside. Put your coat on. It is, what's another way to say chilly? Same. Synonym, cold. It's cold outside. Put your coat on. Well, if it's not chilly, what's the opposite of that? If you want to take your coat off because it's getting warm, or maybe it's even getting hot. Those are both good ones. What about start? Please start. Could you say go? Or you could say begin. Please begin your test. Please begin the race. Or just go. How about, what's the opposite of that? What's the end of a race? Well, you could say finish. Finish your test. Or how about end it? Don't start it, end it. End the timer. Afraid. Ooh, you're afraid. What else are you? What's the same? Well, how about scared? Yeah. And if you're not afraid, normally people say, oh, I'm not scared. Well, you could say confident. What about another one? Brave. Sometimes actually we're most brave when we do something when we are scared or afraid. And honestly, I think it takes more bravery to do something when you are scared than when it doesn't scare you. Because some people aren't scared of certain things. So I think it actually takes more bravery to do something when you're scared. But for now, for an antonym, that's the one we'll put on the list. Okay, the second section right here, I think B. What did you get? Let's see if you get these all right. Every single one. Pupil, student. Ooh, that's one we can use for our sentence down below. Pupil, student. That does mean the same thing. If you didn't know that, now you do. You guys, when I say you are students, you are also pupils. Not the eyeball, but you could probably turn that into an eyeball joke. Try and think of one. Okay, number 2. Complete, finish. Well, complete your work, finish your work. That's the same. Oops. Synonym. Good, bad. Well, those are definitely opposite. Good or bad. Those are opposites. So opposites are antonyms. Vanish, that means to leave, like to go away, disappear. And the opposite of that is appear. So to vanish is to disappear. To appear is to arrive so you can see it. So vanish means to go away, you can't see it. So these are opposites, antonyms. Blue and blue. Here's a clue. If they rhyme, they're going to be, like, the answer is most likely a homonym. Blue and blue. He blew a bubble. He painted his room blue. Those are homonyms. They sound the same, but they mean something different. Buy and buy. Okay, he's going to buy a new bike, and he's going to write it down by the river. Those are homonyms. Okay, foolish, wise. Those are definitely opposites. Either you're foolish or you're wise, so opposite is antonym. How about loving and kind? They're not opposites. They're pretty similar, so I would say synonym. Singular and plural. One or more than one. Those are not the same thing. It's either one or more than one, so those are opposite. They're antonyms. How about break or smash? Break or smash. Those are similar. They are synonyms. Difficult, hard. This is difficult. It's hard. Those are the same. Synonym. Your and your. Ooh, they rhyme. That's your bike. You're going to ride the bike today. Your bike, that belongs to you, or you are. So those are homonyms. They sound the same, but they mean something different. We use them differently. See and see. Well, they sound the same to me. I'm going to put a homonym. And the one is I see with my eyes. The other one is the sea is full of fish. Okay, blank and empty. There is a blank line that you missed on your paper. There's an empty line that you missed on your paper. Those are the same. They mean the same thing. Leave it blank. Leave it empty. Okay, best, worst. That's the best flavor. That's the worst flavor. Those are opposite. So that's a antonym. Noisy, rowdy. Ooh, the class is really noisy. The class is really rowdy today. Everyone's chatting, not sitting in their seats. Those mean the same. Synonym. Be and be. They rhyme, so it's most likely a homonym. And be, like be kind to your neighbor, or there's a bumblebee on the flower. Okay, impolite, rude. So if you look at the word polite, remember this little prefix right here? That means not polite. So polite is kind with good manners. Not polite, this is impolite means not polite, and not polite is the same as rude. So it's a synonym. Scent and scent. This is the kind of money scent. This is the kind of smell with your nose scent. Okay, so it's a homonym. Sour, sweet. Those are definitely opposites. A lot of times they put those flavors together in candy, like sweet and sour, or sweet and sour sauce. Even though they could put those two flavors together, they are opposite flavors. So that would be an antonym. Woohoo! If you need to fix some of those, please make sure you did. And think about it, because there will be a quiz on this. Here we go. Last one. Did you write a declarative sentence using a synonym for pupil? The pupil in the classroom. There's the room was sitting at the desk. Okay, that's boring. It's regular declarative, nothing nothing exciting, no instructions, not a question. The pupil in the classroom was sitting at the desk. The pupil was sitting, so the student. So if you replace the word student and put in pupil, you could use it like that. Okay, so whatever you do, make sure you had capital, make sure you had end punctuation, make sure you had regular declarative information, not a question, not too exciting, and that pupil was used like the word student. So if you were to replace it in your sentence with student, would it still make sense? The student in the classroom was sitting at the desk. The pupil in the classroom was sitting in the desk. Okay, does that make sense? Did yours sound like that? Awesome. If yours did, you're done for the day. Good job. If not, make corrections now, fixed it, and then you're done for the day. Adios.